Alright, this video is going to be about how to make a new transaction. So if you want to create a new transaction, you click here. Then once you're here on the upload page, you can upload your contract or any type of documentation you have to create the transaction. Or you can create a listing just so we know that, and we can also add to an existing transaction. If you want to add to an existing transaction, then you would just select this one and then you would search for the transaction and select it. And then once you upload this, it will actually add to the existing transaction. But right now we're just going to create a new transaction. So I'm going to click here. I'm going to browse files. Let me do, here's the contract. I'm going to select it. Now I selected the contract. Here it is. This is my test contract. Upload, continue. This is going to start reading the document and start the extraction process. There is a smart split feature in here where it'll read it and see if it needs to be split. If it does, then it'll show you all the and give you suggestions for it to split. But this one's just one document together, so we're just going to continue through that and extract the data. This takes a few seconds here, but this is going to pull everything and it'll show you a preview of what was taken out, and then you can compare it with what's on the contract and make any changes if you need. It's usually pretty accurate though, but it's always good to double check, right? So you have the contract here, and you can zoom in on this if you need to, right? And you can check the ad. Here's a title company and things like that. And you go over here, you see you got parties, and we got we got the names here, and we got the dates, effective date, we got earnest money due date. So we want to go over here and check that, right? Financials, property information. And if I want to change this, I can. I can just type here and maybe I just want to take that off or something. Or I want to change this. I can just type here and change that like that, right? Here's the agent's information. You can see here, if it gets it wrong, you can update this here. The brokerage, the title company. See, you guess the email address, phone number, that all looks right. I could go over here and say, look, make sure, I got it right. And then here's some of this other data, like if there's a listing, it pulls that. This down here is a contact linking, so it's going to search your contacts and see if there's any matches. It says here's a 60% match for these contacts I have in my address book or my contacts over here. So I'm just going to say, okay, I want to use the existing ones. Don't make. You see, I already got a bunch of dupes, right? So I scroll up, and then I say, okay, that looks good. Let me create this. I'm going to apply results up here in the top. Right, I apply that. You'll see that spinner starts spinning, and then right now this is just asking for feedback. Hey, if there's fields wrong or something was wrong, just let me know and we can update that. I'm just going to submit through that. And then here, this is the file, right? This is the transaction file for that contract we just uploaded. There's the address, the address and the price information. And then from here, you can see, we have the parties, the agent, the title company information. I can add vendors if I want, like the home inspector, well inspector, septic, all those types of things. You see the documents over here. I've been using this for a test transaction, so you can see. But you can see here, I got the documents listed there. And then here's the timeline of the transaction. This is where the checklist templates come in. So you can apply a checklist to this. So this is a Florida one, and I'm on the buyer side. So I can use this template here, and I can apply this checklist as a checklist template. I apply it, and then this makes a copy of this and applies it to this transaction. And what it does, you see here, I got 11 key dates created, and I got 17 tasks created, right? So one of the dates needs to be updated manually. So I say done to that, and then you can see I got pre-approval, I got escrow, I got all these key dates that happen in a transaction. Now, if this template if this checklist is wrong, you can update this, and you can change these dates to what you need, or you can say, hey, I want to create a new checklist, and you can create your own checklist, and apply that. So, but for here, this is the checklist, right? Now, if we want to go, just because I brought that up, if you go over to templates over here on the left, this is where these checklist templates, they're over here on templates, so you can go see all those there. And then what you can do is you can modify these by clicking this. You can link tasks. All these tasks came with the checklist template, and if you want to see all the tasks in better detail, you can see them here. And then these tasks, each task, you can do a bunch of stuff with it, right? So I can assign it to someone, like if I have more teammates, I can put it on here, or I can put detailed instructions here. I can have a due date. I can add subtasks. I can link an email to this. Like say I want the move-in checklist email to go out, and I want it to go out on a certain date, or I just want to send this out as a task. This is an email I need to send, so it's a task I need to do. If you want to view it, you can view it here. And then we have reminders. So maybe I want to remind the agent or someone one day before, or different times, and I can have set reminders. I can show it on the portal or hide it on the portal. I can make this, these are like, more options you can add if you want for different situations. And I can add comments on here if you're working with other people. So yeah, so the task is pretty detailed. A lot of different things you can do with it. Documents. Here's the documents. This is a normal document PDF viewer. You can see how this got split up. Here's the full contract, and here's the ones that were split up, and it puts the address first with then the name of the PDF title. That's what the AI did that. So then I can say, there's documents needed. I can add these here, and this will show up on my reports page, where I can, if I need to send a report to a real estate agent or to anyone else who might be interested in saying, hey, these are the key dates, these are the parties involved, here's the tasks, and here's the documents I have, and here's documents I need. That'll only show though if you select it over here. You can say, required document, I need the HOA docs or something, right? And you can say like a due date. You can add that, and then what you do is that will show up on your report. This is documents needed, right? Then we have contacts. These are the transaction contacts. So these are the agents, right? Professional services. You got the clients, and these are the buyer and sellers. You got messages. So this is where you can send emails. So if you want to send emails out with this transaction contacts to fill the email templates, this is where you would do that. So you'd click this template button. You would say here, let me see, buyer introduction maybe. And then you'd go here and you could see the template, and you could use that one, or you could say, you know what, I don't really like that one. Let me pick a different one. There you go. When you pick this one, you can see that. And yeah, so that's how that works. You can schedule emails to go out. You can add attachments. These are attachments that are already part of in the documents for this transaction in this file, or you can upload some. Here we have the portal, so you can create a link, and you say, hey, I want to make a link for the buyer seller, and I'm going to select it for the seller, and then I'm going to create the link, and that's for this link is for this person, and then I could open it, and then this is what the portal would look like, and then I can share this link through email or however you want to share it with them, and they will have a status of the other transaction. So these are all the milestones or the key dates that we added from that checklist, And then so you'll see here the tasks don't show. But if what we want to do is, if we want to show some of these tasks on here, there's a little icon here. It says show on portal. So I can say, okay, I want to show this on the portal for Laura Spalding, and then that will be on the portal. And then I can refresh this, and then I'll see that task is on there now. And so I can show and hide any of these. I can only show, which ones I want to show. Let me see, messages, portal, forms. These are forms. Like, say you want to send a form out to collect data. So you want to email out a form to someone, like either the clients or the agent or title company or whoever it is. You can send them a form. We have form templates, and we have, and you can make your own templates too. So say I want to update the seller's disclosure. This is that form template. And then I can say expiration, or I can just not set expiration. I can just create it, right? And then there's the form. And if I want to go and see the form, I can go here. That's the portal, but let me see here. Did I do that right? Oh, no, I didn't. Here, copy. And then here we go. There you go. There's the form. So this goes by, it'll be the org logo and your org name there, right? And then this is the name of the form. And, here's like, different fields. You can customize all this stuff. And then when they submit this, let me see. Let me just put some stuff in here. Form submitted, right? And then go back here. And then you'll see here, the form submissions are here. And then you see the data here, right? So you have, the different answers they gave. You see, I just typed in random stuff there. And then you can map this to something if you want in these fields for the transaction. So you can map these to the closing date, to appraisal, or whatever different information you're trying to collect. And you can buyer and seller's name, for example, or buyer and seller's email, or their second email, or phone numbers, or different things like that. That's what that's for. And then you can apply it. Once you apply it, it'll save to these different fields in this transaction for this transaction file. That's forms. So, and then you got history. So this is just, all this is doing is just recording the history of what happens on this transaction. It's all recorded. And then we have the reports. So these are called SITREP reports. So you can generate these reports to send to agents. You can set up on a schedule, or you can do it impromptu, or some people like to print out the checklist and have a physical one. You can do that. That's what that's for. So you can set this up. Hey, I want this to go out every Friday at 9 a.m. And I want it to send it to these people. And then it'll send it to either, the agent, the broker, or, whoever's interested. And the listing, this listing tab is just for if it's a listing, right? So if it's a listing, this is where you would manage that. And that's all the tabs for, this is a transaction, right? So that I went through a lot of the basics on a transaction. If you have any other questions or need more details on this, because I know it is a lot, you can always open this up here, and you have AI, right? But you can live chat with me. Just send your questions here, and I'll answer your questions. If you ever have any questions, please let me know. Hopefully that's helpful. Thank you so much.